Hi people, this is Black Shepherd, and today I want to talk about the dangers of cassava peels giving raw, especially when it's giving raw to your animals, and also how we can avert these dangers and utilize this resource that is very abundant and available, especially here in the south here in Benin City. Cassava peels are always available, and we all know that it's a good energy source, it's a good fiber source. So if you can utilize it properly when formulating your feed for your animals, even if it's chicken feed, it can help you to reduce the amount of maize you have to put into that formula, right? Which will help you to reduce costs. So basically the first thing you hear about cassava peels mostly is the cyanide poisoning, and this is factual. The thing is, all cassava peels, there are different varieties of cassava peels, and they have very different levels of cyanide. In each variety there's different level of cyanide, but whether you're using a variety that is high or you don't know which variety to use, what I do is I love precautions. So the best way to reduce the cyanide levels in cassava, there are two ways. It's either by drying or soaking, and I'm talking of cheap low cost method, because as we know, most people practicing livestock farming, whether it's poultry or goat farming in Africa, we really don't have access to so much credit. So everybody's thinking about how to reduce cost, right? So any method I am going to be sharing here will be something you can easily do without spending so much. So we do drying. I do drying here. Basically I do drying. When you dry them in the sun for 2 to 3 days, the cyanide levels are significantly reduced, and it makes it safe for your animals to be able to eat it. The other method is soaking it in water and later drying it. People do that. They soak it in water for about 2 to 3 days, of which you change the water. You soak it in water maybe the first day, that 24 hours you turn that water away, you flush it out, you put fresh water. The reason I don't use that method is because, one, it needs additional resources, which is the water, right? Then you have to you need a source of water, and you also need to have someone there who would be changing the water periodically. It could be you, and also you might need like a bathtub to put them and then put the water inside. So you might need a lot of stuff that will cost you money. The bathtub will definitely cost you money, and it's not like the bathtub is going to take a lot of peels, so you might need 2 or 3. So then you need water, and you need to change that water. So I feel like that might be tedious. I just basically dry it under the sun for 2 to 3 days, and it has been working perfectly well for me, right? And my animals have been eating it. I've been having zero problems. And another thing I think is important for farmers to understand, it's concentration levels, right? Things like, take for instance, things like mercury, lead, and some of all these forever chemicals. When people buy crops or eat foods that have been contaminated with these things, they don't just die that day. They don't just get cancer that day. It's all about that thing becoming a constant input into their system, that the levels of that mercury, lead, or cyanide or whatever gets too much for the system to be able to recycle and flush it off, and then it becomes a problem, and over the years it causes cancer or whatever illness. So you need to understand that the fact that a lot of people are afraid about cassava peels does not mean that your goats can't eat it. Let's say maybe there's an emergency, right, in your farm, and you don't have feed for the animals. You can give them a one-time, maybe fresh cassava if it's available. Like maybe in the morning you give it to them, and in the afternoon and evening you found another food source while drying the rest you have. But making it a constant thing in the feeding pattern in your farm, making it a constant fresh cassava peels is a danger. There are so many dangers from giving your animals fresh cassava peels, because you want to dry your cassava peels, like I said, they must spend 2 to 3 days under a whole day sunlight, like a whole day length of sunlight. So if you have a situation where maybe the sun did shine for like maybe 8 to like 1, 2, and then rain fell on that day is cancelled. Basically it has to be a day where there was just no interruption with the sunlight. You count it as 1 day to get your 2 days or 3 days, right? And another thing you need to understand is, when drying cassava peels, the surface must be flat, because the video the person made, he had like a pallet, right? He had like a crate, and he put the cassava peels in them, and the crate had 4 sides, and those 4 sides were more close to a feet high, right? That would create like a shadow on the sides of your platform, so that when the sun is moving in the other direction, a shadow will be formed on the cassava peels that are close to that part, right? So they won't be getting enough sunlight. Also, when you have like a side, then it would tempt you to stuff a lot of peels in there. So you don't want your cassava peels to be stuck on any platform where the depth is like more than 1 inches. It has to be really spread out so that the sun hits them properly. And once in a while, you're supposed to like just shuffle it and turn it. Maybe once in a day, you shuffle it and turn it. That way, you have a really dry cassava peel. This video demonstrates my points on how to do this in a low cost and effective manner. There is no shade, no trees or roof line covering it to ensure that the sun really hits them up properly. You can see that there are no sides, and I used a tarpaulin, to spread them out so that in case the rain starts falling, I can easily roll it out and prevent rainfall from meeting it. Also, you do not stack them on top of each other, like creating heaps. So it's spread out so that the sun can really heat it up and touch all of them, very them out properly and dry them. Now, when you do all of these, the result is going to be a crunchy, flaky peel with no smell. It's going to be smelling like they are frying gari whenever you bring it close to your nose. Also, there's a color thing to it. You can see in this demonstration, I'm trying to compare the one in the plastic packer with these ones that did not go well. You can see the color is dull black and having mold. So this is the result of what you get when it is not done properly, and you should not feed this to your animals. Thank you.